Welcome back, guys. In this video, we are going to continue our journey with Adonis JS. So last time in my video, I have shown you the basics of how to use Adonis. But now in this video, let us make something which we can, think of like a proper application. So we will start with creating a movie review, forum where we will pull the movie information from this free API which is being available to us, OMDB API. Okay, what you need to do is you create your own API key, going here, and it'll send you an email with the API key, and it allows you to do 100 requests per day, which for us is good enough to start with, right? So the first thing that we are going to do is set up a new Adonis instance. Okay, so we will name it movie review, and let us wait while this compiles. Okay, this is done. Let us go inside the folder like we have done. I'll open up the code inside Visual Studio Code. Okay, it seems there's a new update, so it took some time. Generally doesn't do that. So anyways, so we'll close that out, and we have our code base, and also we'll do Adonis. What's that? So dev, right? And we will have one terminal open to run any command which we want to. Okay, go to Chrome, localhost 3000. It's not ready yet. Sorry, 333. All right, so our app is running, and so the first thing which we would like to do is go inside our routes, okay, and change everything to controller. So I'll create a controller, Adonis new. Okay, this is an HTTP controller. So once that is done, we'll open up welcome controller. Okay, inside that, let's create a new index function, and we will pull the view only. Okay, and we will do return view dot render welcome. Okay, so we haven't changed anything yet. The only thing which we have done is the welcome dot edge, which is rendered here. We will change this, and we'll just say that we are using the controller. Okay, so okay, this is done, and if you hit refresh, okay, this is route.get. All right, the first thing which we wanted to change is done. Now we will create a new route which will list the movies. Okay, so we'll create a URL called, let's say, movies. We will create a new controller which we will call movie controller. Okay, we will name it as movies.index. Why don't we also name this so that it is always easy to reference them. Okay, so we have welcome controller which is now named, and we have movie controller. So for this, why don't I comment it? First create that controller, again an HTTP controller, right? And let's now pull that controller up and create that index method again. Okay, so we have created this route. Okay, we will also no, the index method will return a view again, typically what we have done with the welcome controller as well. So return view dot render. Why don't we render pages slash movies? Okay, and we'll create that obviously. So inside resources we'll have pages slash movies dot edge. Okay, now why don't we for now just print out this is the movie list and see if we get that. Make sure the file exists. Is it? We made some mistake, I think. This is movie, which I think should have been movies. So I'll change that. And now if we refresh, it still doesn't work. Do I need to refresh or what is it? Pages slash movies. This is fine. View movie controller dot index. No problem in here. Oh, I got the problem. The folder was wrong. So I'll move it. Inside views we have pages, so this works. Now we need to fetch data from this thing, right? So let's look at how we can first of all create a view layout so that we have some bootstrapping in place, and then we will use that layout along with this page to show the data. So what is a layout? What are you trying to do? What we are saying is, see, any page that we create will have certain level of common markup, right? So for example, if I move this and I'll have HTML5, it will have this title, it will need some styles, it will need some JavaScript, all those things, right? And we don't want to create the same kind of a layout every time. So how do we do that? In here, what we are going to use as a technique is we will first create a layout dot edge file. Okay, in that let us have HTML5, all those stuff. For now we will also have a title. Okay, and inside body, now there are certain things which we can do. For example, we can do include. Okay, we will include certain files when we have navigations and everything in place. We will have to add bootstrap, but for now let's keep it simple, and what we will do is we will have a container. Okay, and in that container we'll have a content, and here I'm going to say that it's a section. So let me see if I have that autocomplete. Yes, so I'll have a section called content. So what am I basically saying is that this is an edge file which will when we render this, it will render this exact thing, but when it is here, right, it is here, it will look for other edge files to give it the content. Okay, so we never directly render the layout.edge file, but we actually what we do is, let's come over here, and what we will do is we will mention edge layout, right? Yeah, so we will mention that this edge file, okay, uses a layout tag. Now in an edge file you can have only one layout. Okay, so this view uses this layout.edge. Okay, so it will render this entire HTML, and then we will also say that this edge file has a section. Okay, the section name is content. We will do end section. Now, those again, those of you who have worked with blade files in Laravel, you will exactly know what is happening. But for those who haven't worked with it, this is how things work. So I'll have div. Let's just say I'll have some margin bottom. However, I haven't added bootstrap yet, so don't worry, we will do that. I'm just keeping the markup simple right now and adding it. So we'll have an h2 as well, and we'll say movie list. Oops. Okay, so again, this h file uses the layout, which is this. Okay, and in here we defined a section with the name content, and this is our output in that content. So when the final h file is rendered, it will first take this entire thing and it will kind of inject this part in here. Okay, so let's see. So we have welcome controller and hit refresh. Nothing happened. That's fine. We must have missed something, or there must have been some typo. So this is @section content. Okay, @section. This seems to be fine. Layout is @layout. Okay, the section here is @, not with the exclamation. Right, so you can see this part is coming from the layout, right? And some part of this as well. However, this is coming from our section, which we have defined inside this movies.edge. And you can see we never rendered the layout, right? We said that we want to render pages/movies. So pages/movies is being rendered. It uses a layout and then content. Okay, so I hope you get this concept clear, because this is very important. There are includes which we will touch upon later, but the layout and the section is very important for you to kind of form your views. Okay, so we have data. We will need a search form as well. We will it will not look good, but okay, that's fine. For now we will use them. So we'll create a search form inside a folder called partials. Okay, this is something like a folder where we have common components. So search search form dot edge. Okay, and in here what we will do is create a form. Okay, but because this is a partial, we don't need to define layout. So quickly I will add the markup, and then we can start from there. So we have a form, okay, which goes to an action called movie search. I haven't created that yet. We will do that. Okay, then we have a div which has a text field. Okay, as I have shown you, we will look for it because this name is search. The value will be either old search or empty. Okay, I have this validation thing as well. Okay, and I have I have also added a search button. So it will not still look good, but we will add the bootstrap later on, that being the idea. But however, this new view that we have created, right, we will include that. So include, we'll have partials dot search form, and if you're lucky, we should have a form in here. Okay, why don't we have a basic the CDN version of the bootstrap, at least, so that it looks a little bit okay, and then we will later on get the how do you say, the npm version of things. So I'll just add the CSS here so that we have some UI going on. Okay, so this is a list. Okay, I told you that the markup is basically bootstrap compliant. The only thing is I don't have bootstrap yet, which we will add later. So now we have defined, or we have a requirement for a route which we haven't created yet, which is the search. It's going to be a get route, so let's get to our routes file, get search. Okay, again I'll create a new controller. I don't want this, so come over here, search movie controller, and HTTP controller. Okay, search movie controller. I'll just copy this so that I don't have any typo, and this is going to be movies dot search. Okay, movies dot search. Let's just keep it like that. uh, let's create the index first. All right, so index, we will definitely need the view. So view will have a page called search result maybe. Okay, so return view dot render pages slash search result. We'll need to create that. So search result dot edge. Okay, why don't we steal a little bit of this content? We'll keep it like this for now. Okay, and so yeah, we have a view called search result. I think if we go into this, we get this. Okay, that's fine. We will also have the form, continue there. So yeah, let's keep it like that. Now when we are on this page, right, it will we will type for something. Okay, let's like say we'll type for a search for Titanic, and it will go to the search page, right? So we will have to do first a validation. So we'll create a constant called rules. Okay, we'll have a key called search, which is required. Let's just say required. And so like we did last time, so we'll create a constant called validation, which will be an await. So because this is await, we should have async in our function, right? Await validate. We have request. I think I will have to again import the validate first of all. So constant validate equals use validator. No, I kind of forget that the validator is available or not. So let's see. Says search null. That's interesting. Search movies. Oh, I think what I have done here is this is wrong. It was movie and not movies. So refresh the form again. Titanic search. Yes, validator is not present. So for validator, we need to install it. We'll copy this, add it here. This is not available by default, so we will install it, and then we'll have to add that provider inside our start/app.js. Okay, it does open up this once the installation is done. Don't worry, just close it. We'll go to our start app.js, and in here inside the providers we add this. Hit refresh. Request is not defined. That's fine. At least the validator is not complaining. We will have request All right, so once this is done, yeah, we are on that page. If we want, we can console the request dot all to confirm that we are getting the result, right? We do the search term and we are validating it. Okay, once the validation is done, it's very simple. If validation fails, okay, so we will need the session, we will do session. For that, we will first import the session. Okay, so session with errors, okay, which will have validation dot messages, okay, and I think we need to flash, if I'm not wrong, flash all. Let's keep it like this. Okay, we'll see. And return response. I need to import that as well because I'll do redirect back. Redirect back. And if the validation doesn't fail, if we have a proper validation passed data, then we will do search on OMDB API. So that's something which we will implement. But before that, let's do the validation thing first. So come back here, hit refresh, and we see required validation failed on search, which is fine. And if we do this and hit search, we are on this page. So now we need to do our integration and getting data from OMDB API. Okay, now that is very simple. I'm assuming that you have the API key because that is required. So you need to register and get that. And in here, I need to we need the Axios. So npm install Axios save. Let us pull out that library. Okay, and so in here we will require Axios. So constant search, first of all, search string equals request input search. This is the search term we have, and we'll say constant results equals await Axios dot get. For that, we'll need to import Axios first. So let's just do constant constant Axios equals require Axios. Okay, the URL will be like this. Okay, omdbs.com/?API key and then search. So S is search string, which is this. Okay, now how do we get the OMDB key? Okay, OMDB key is something which we'll get like this. So we have constant config equals, let's say, use config. Okay, and we'll have OMDB equals config dot get app dot OMDB key. How do we get that? We go inside our config app. Okay, and in here, right somewhere at the bottom, we will have this. Okay, the convention is, those who have worked with Laravel will know that this should pick it up from env. So we will have env. If you I think we have the name is also coming like that, env.get the env file, env key as the default value, right? So in here we will also do env.get, okay, omdb underscore key, copy this, otherwise abcd. Okay, so this is done. Open up my env. The key is something which I'll paste in, however you should not be seeing that, so I'll just hide that and then we will continue. Okay, so I have added the key and now I think we can, you know, make the API call. Okay, so console is on. Why don't we do the search result, and we are getting something obviously. Now um, for us to look at the results, I think what I'll have to do is, why don't we directly show it in the view? Okay, so I'll pass that, results to the view as results.data.search. Okay, how do I know that? So the results has a data property. I have gone through this, so I know, but yeah, somewhere in here this is the status. Sorry, Axios has the data property, and then inside data, right, I have search. So that's search in, sorry, it's in capital. Okay, and then we can get inside the search result. Okay, so we have the title and all those things, and then we have the search form, and then we need to show the search result. So this is again something where I will do some copy paste of code, and we will go through the markup on what exactly is happening. So typical row column, we have a list group, we have named it movie search result. Okay, and then in here I'm doing a each. Okay, so in each we are doing the li. Okay, we will be linking that route to movie.view, which is the detailed view of a movie. But so we are iterating through the results which we are passing in here. Okay, the view gets results, which is this. We iterate it over, and then we show the title, the year, and the poster. Okay, so we'll do save, and if we are lucky we should get this. Okay, so there are quite a few results. Let's try something else as well. So we have Fast and Furious. Okay, we have this version as well, 1954. So right, so this is how the basic search result is working. Now the next step will be for us to get the details of an individual movie. Right now the route will not work, but so this is the search result. Now let's look at how we can get the detail of the movie. Okay, so I'll come over here. After search result, we will have one more get route, which is movie slash, let's say, the ID. Okay, and here we'll use the movie controller, and we'll have a view route, view method, and we will say movie dot view. Okay, that's what we have in here as well, right? So movie view, we pass the ID, which is the res.imdb. So how do I know that? So again, let's go back here. If you remember, we had, I will show you. Why don't we need to go through that? So API key is fine, and then we have s equals search string, right? So that's what we are doing here. And somewhere, I think, yes, optional, a valid IMDb ID. If we pass that IMDb ID, it will give me the details of the movie. So why don't we do that? So we'll go over to our movies controller. I don't need the welcome controller. Search form, I think it's fine. Movies it's fine as well. Okay, now in here I will first, what we will do is we'll just show the data um, from the API call. Okay, ideally we would want to have something like, if that movie data, we'll check that in our database. We'll have a database table called movies, and we will check if that movie is present in our database, then we'll show it. Otherwise we'll fetch it from the API, store it, and then show it. But let's first just do the part of getting the API and but data from the API and showing it. Okay, then we will convert that. So we'll need Axios and the config. So we'll do something like this, steal the entire code from here and add it here. Okay, so the first thing is movie ID equals params.id. Okay, this is something which we will get. It is ID because we have mentioned ID in here. We can do maybe IMDb ID, but let's keep it simple. We'll have ID in here, so params.id will be available to us. Okay, and then we can do constant response equals await axios.get. We have an await, so we'll need to do it, make this function async. Okay, let me copy the URL. So ideally I would like to have these things inside a service, so we will do these refactors later on, but first let's get the basics right. Okay, we will have to make maybe OMDB service where we have two functions. One is giving me the search result, and one is giving me the movie data based on the ID and based on the search string. So yeah, we will make that refactor later on, but right now let's just concentrate on result equals response dot data. Okay, and then why result, let's keep it simple, remove this, we'll make this response. Okay, and then we will pass, oops, what am I doing? So I'm sorry, this is all fine. So that's what I certainly thought, that how do I get that, I got that view. Anyways, so I'm sorry for that, but I have a response in here. Okay, I'm making that Ajax call, and then why don't we pass that directly to a view? So return view dot render. Okay, we'll have a pages slash movie details maybe. Okay, and we'll pass movie equals, let's just say response dot data. Okay, it should have that. I remember that's how it was. So dash I becomes movie ID instead of the search string which I'm getting from the params, and the key is fine. Key, we are taking it from the config. And yeah, so let's create this view, and obviously I'll copy paste the markup. Right, so dot edge. So let's see, I have a layout tag which says we will use the layout, so that's fine. We know what that does. Then we have movie details as a title. Okay, and we are pulling in movie title, we are formatting certain things. We have image source movie.poster, which is a URL. Okay, and with this, let us save this as well and come back, hit refresh, and Axios is not defined. Wow, that's interesting. Search movie controller, I think during that, you know weird looking coding that I was doing, on the wrong controller, I removed that axis. So yeah. So if you're able to see my status bar, it says movie slash tt023 something something. So if I click here, right, we get this URL. This is the IMDb ID, so as to say, and we get this detail. All right. So yeah, that's how we were able to get into a position which was, let's say, first URL which we worked with was movies, right? We will show a list of movies once we have the database in place. But let's say I search for, again, Fast and Furious. As a user, I do a search. Okay, I see these results and I can click on any of this item and get into the details of that movie. So yeah, that's how we have this basic thing in place where we have movies, the ability to search for movies. And in the next video, what we will do is we will look at how we can work with the database. We will create our migrations. We'll create a movie table, and when we are showing the movie data, right, we will first check if that is available with our database. If that is the case, we will show it from the database. If not, we'll fetch that movie information from OMDB API, save it through the database, and then we'll show it. Okay. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.